Hey there, this is Candace Duff coming at you all the way live from a sunny South Florida and rocking a turban. Anyway, it's funny when you work from home, you don't feel like combing your hair anymore. It's kind of strange that way. One of the reasons why I'm here is to talk to you a little bit about my prep for National Novel Writing Month. That's right, it's that time of year again. Where maniacs from all over the globe, and I mean maniacs, sign up or nanowrimo.com and they vow to write a 50,000 word book from November 1st to November 30th of every year. So this year I'm signing up for Nanowrimo again. I'm going to be writing another book. And I'm also going to be doing those live writing sprints on YouTube that you all loved. So I'm going to go ahead and do those again. So I'm scheduling some for this week, and I'm definitely scheduling them for Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And I want you to, in the comments on YouTube or whatever, let me know what times and dates are best for you. I do different things to get ready for NaNoWriMo. I am late this year in doing certain things. One of the things that I love to do is meal prep because I don't want to be ordering in the entire month, just ordering in all this bad food, gaining weight. I don't want to repeat mistakes that I did last year. I'm actually on a special diet now where I watch my macros and where I seek to get, 150 grams of protein a day. It's actually working for me. The balance of 1,800 calories, 150 grams of protein a day. It's working really well for me. I'm actually starting to lose weight again, and I'm down 20 pounds from where I was when I first started. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm going to show you a special breakfast that I meal prepped. I meal prepped it for 4 days, and I ate one today. So basically, I'll have breakfast already made for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how I did it. I call it Candace's breakfast hash or something like that. It's made with tofu. For those of you who are scared of soy, think you're going to get man boobs or think soy is bad for you, first of all, that's a myth. Soy is not bad for you. It's not going to give you man boobs. It's not going to mess with your estrogen. But even if you do believe that, there's other types of tofu besides soy that you could use. Believe it or not, I have in my refrigerator also a tofu made of fava beans. So instead of soy, you can use fava bean tofu. I got it from Sprouts. It's made by a company called Big Mountain Foods. You can go ahead and grab that. That would also work fabulously in this tofu scramble. All right. Now, this tofu scramble gave me 54 grams of protein. My protein goal is 150. I'm getting 54 grams just from this breakfast, which means I started out the day on a really, really good note. And I had that breakfast hours and hours ago, and I'm still not remotely hungry. So it will definitely hold you. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to show you how I made this breakfast. I started out here with some onions and a yellow bell pepper, sauteing in a pan. And now I'm adding some high protein tofu. And this tofu is from the brand Nasoya. A lot of times you have to press your tofu to remove the liquid. Super firm tofu doesn't normally come with a lot of liquid, as you can see. There was only a little bit. It kind of dripped, and I probably should have done that over the sink. But it's actually very firm. It's kind of dry, and it flakes off rather easily. So what you see here is me flaking it into the pan so that it more closely resembles a scramble, and it's in smaller pieces. And I like to do tofu scrambles because when the pieces are this small, they tend to hold on better to whatever seasonings that you want to add. And as you can see here, I'm mixing in the tofu, and I'm kind of a messy cook. So you'll probably see me pop things back into the pan. Here I'm using Goya adobo, and this is the seasoning my mother used to use all the time, God rest her soul. And so I tend to use it in my cooking. But you can use any kind of seasoning salt or salt you want in order to season your tofu. Normally, when I make a scramble, I use other seasonings. But today I'm using Sazon Goya or adobo. I'm also using garlic, and I drop the top onto the floor. Let me tell you, cooking while you're recording is not an easy thing. So I have to scoop down now and get that top. It's very embarrassing, but hey. And luckily it fell top side up. So here I'm using smoked paprika, It's another seasoning that I'm using to flavor the tofu because tofu takes on the flavors you give it. So you can marinate it, for example, in soy sauce or whatever you want to have if you have it cut into cubes, or you can season it when it's in the pan. Here, I'm seasoning with various seasonings, including nutritional yeast. And nutritional yeast has a double use. It serves as a seasoning. It also serves to increase the protein in the dish and to give additional nutrients and vitamins. And I'm heavy-handed here with nutritional yeast because I like the cheesy flavor of it. It's like having cheese and bread. So here, I'm heavy-handed with it. I'm mixing it in pretty thoroughly. And now I'm going for some additional ingredients that I'm going to be putting into this. And this ingredient is potatoes. I'm using a cup, that's a half cup measure, of potatoes that I had boiled. So they were already cooked. And those are going into this. It's really not just a scramble. It's actually more of a hash. And that's why I called it Candace's tofu hash. And I'm going for some black beans that I had cooked up in the Instant Pot. I cooked these up in dry. And this is a cup and a half, approximately, of black beans that I seasoned with poblanos and other seasonings. So as I scoop this out, I'm trying to get like 1.5 cups, which is what you typically get in a can. I realize that I'm being ridiculous. I might as well put their whole container in because there's so little left in the container afterwards. So I go ahead and scoop those in as well. And now I have to carefully fold the potatoes and the beans in because I don't want to fling food all outside the pot, which is kind of small actually for what I'm trying to do. I think next time I'll cook this in a slightly bigger pot. I don't know why us YouTubers, we do this all the time. We cook in these tiny pots and we try to figure it out afterwards. But I'm mixing in the beans and the potatoes so they're distributed pretty evenly with the tofu. And that's kind of between that and the aromatics, the onions and the peppers, that's kind of what makes it a hash. So here I'm getting ready to taste it, and I realize I should taste it with a little bit of everything, not just tofu. And I have to blow on it because the food is really hot. You don't want to burn your mouth, which I often do. And after I tasted it, I realized I was on camera and shouldn't be double dipping in my pot. So I went ahead and put the utensil down and added some more seasoning salt. And I'm about to add some black pepper, which I forgot to add initially. Normally I add turmeric to my tofu scrambles, but I didn't have any turmeric on me. So I always, I ran out of turmeric, but I always add black pepper because that activates turmeric when you have it. So I'm mixing in the last of the seasonings. Make sure everything is evenly distributed. And coming up on the end of our cooking demonstration, which I guess I could have done without all that banging. Okay, so this Misoya super firm high protein tofu is my main protein source. And I want to make sure I get enough protein with this breakfast, right? So I'm just going to take a look at this. This has 14 grams of protein. I don't know if you can see this or not, per serving. And there's 5 servings in this little pack, believe it or not. So 1/5 a piece gives you 130 calories and 14 grams of protein. This is an amazing protein profile. You want to get at least 10 grams of protein per 100 calories. So this actually goes above and beyond. I made this whole block in my tofu scramble. So I want to see how much to divide this by. So let's say 130 calories times, forget that. 14 grams of protein times 5 equals 70. So there's 70 grams of protein in this entire pack. So for me to get, if I divide this by 3, that's going to give me 23 grams of protein. And that's not counting the black beans I have in there or anything else. So, and I put the equivalent of a can of black beans in there. So I can assume I'm getting at least half a cup, if not more, in every serving. So if I divide this by 3, I'll get 23 grams of protein plus maybe 7 more from the bean. Oh, right in front of my face. I'm gonna put the food into a big bowl, and I'm gonna weigh the bowl first to see how much the bowl is. So I have my food scale here, which this is very cheap to get on Amazon. I'll put a link below. You can actually get it very cheap and extremely useful for making sure you reach your dieting and nutrition goals. So this bowl, I zeroed out somehow. Let me do this again because I'm the bowl is right. Let me do this again. The bowl's okay. I'm zeroing out the bowl and I'm putting in the food. So let's do this. The food is hot. I don't want to wear it, so let me do this carefully. By the way, I tasted this and it's really good. I kind of based it off of a Gaz Oakley recipe, but I didn't follow the recipe exactly, so I don't want him like shooting me for saying this is his recipe when I actually didn't use all the spices and stuff he had in his. But I'll leave the link down below because his recipe looks bomb.com as far as I can tell. And this tastes really good. You know, if you don't really like tofu, like for me, when I used to think of tofu, I used to think, oh my goodness, you know, like I don't know if I'm gonna like that texture. Just the very thought was kind of off-putting. But when you crumble it up like this and put it into an omelet, it's actually really tasty. And you don't really mind the texture at all. It's pretty amazing. Okay, so this here is 1122 in total, 1122 grams. And if I were to divide 1122 into 3, that's 374 grams per serving. So I'm gonna zero this out again, and I'm gonna take out 374 grams. So that's minus 78. Minus 167. Gives you a pretty good serving. All right, 373 grams. That works for me. So this is the equivalent of a serving. I'm gonna go ahead and divide this up into 3 servings, and I'm gonna go ahead and have 1 serving for breakfast. And then I'm going to input this recipe into my FitnessPal and show you the full macro breakdown of this breakfast and also of what I had for breakfast in general. Hey there, this is Candace coming at you all the way live from sunny South Florida. So I want to show you what happened with this tofu scramble that we made this morning. I went into my FitnessPal and I entered the recipe here on recipes, and I entered it manually. And I called it Candace's Tofu Scramble. So I have that here. So if I click on here, it'll show you all the macros for this scramble. And as you can see here, 1/3 of the breakfast is 3 servings. So 1/3 is 567 calories, which is actually fine for me because I get 1,800 calories a day on a cut. So that means I'm going to lose weight at a pretty good clip at 1,800 calories because of my weight and my height and my level of activity. And then I'm down, so I get 54 grams of protein in this breakfast, which means that's 1/3, it's over 1/3 of my protein goal for the day. My protein goal is 150 because that's my goal weight. I get 54 grams of protein just in breakfast with this breakfast alone. And that's a good ratio and a good macro because that's 10% of the calories. So, okay, so that's where we are with that. Now let me show you some surprising things. I'm going to pretend to edit this recipe so we can go into what I put in here. So I put in here the soya, remember the high, super firm, high protein tofu. Remember that whole pack was 70 grams of protein, and the whole pack is 650 calories. It's 130 calories per serving, 14 grams of protein, and there are 5 servings in there. I got protein also from the 1.5 cups of cooked black beans that I added to the hash. So that gave me 21 grams of protein for 360 calories. I got a little tiny bit of protein from the 1 cup of cooked potato I put in there. And I got some protein from some surprising sources. I got 1 gram of protein from my garlic powder, which also gave me 10 grams of calories, or 10 calories. I got 1 gram of protein from the smoked paprika I put in there, which was 13 calories. And I also got protein, a lot of protein from the nutritional yeast. So I used 3 quarter cup servings of that nutritional yeast, and that gave me a whopping 64 grams of protein. It also gave me vitamin B12. So I saw a comment on another site where somebody said, where do you get your B12 from? A lot of vegan products are fortified with vitamin B12. Vegan milks, some of the nutritional yeasts are fortified. So that's where vegans typically get their B12. All right, so I also put an onion in there and a bell pepper in there, and I accounted for that. So all of that is 567 calories and 54 grams of protein per serving. So that was a pretty protein-packed breakfast. Thanks for joining me today. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. And please check the comments out for the times that we're going to be doing those writing sprints. Happy NaNoWriMo. Take care.